Give everyone maybe a minute more and then get started. Okay, that should probably be fine. This is my name is Mike Chamberlain. I'm with Stantec. We're the consultant assisting the county with prelim design of 355 BRT. What I have up on my screen is the web map of the 25% design. I was thinking, if there's an address or a location you want to go to, we can try to go to that spot and see what things look like. Otherwise, I could go over a couple places that changed from the study phase design, whatever the preference is.
Hi, this is Jerry Gosson. I'd like to go to what I call the White Flint stop I guess it's Security Lane.
Security Lane? Okay.
And I have a major problem. I attended the BRT session for the North Bethesda BRT. It's beautiful that you have to walk about 2/10 of a mile from where their BRT is going to end at the White Flint station to where the BRT on 355 is at Security Lane. Am I missing something?
Let's go to that spot and look, and then Dan will pick up. I saw you unmute. We can go to your location after that. Let me try to put in Security Lane, if I can spell it correctly.
I think it's like the third slide.
Let's do this. See if it works. Okay. Are you seeing where I'm zooming in now? So I'm at Security Lane in front of the old White Flint Mall, and there's median 2-lane median BRT station here and here.
And how far is this to the White Flint station where the people are going to get off the other BRT?
Oh no, well, there are for the White Flint. You mean the White Flint Metro Station?
Yeah.
There are stations. Let me keep going.
I mean, the two BRTs should at least be in the same location, go to the same place, but maybe.
So actually, this was one of the changes from the study phase. Originally, there were BRT stations located at the intersection of Marinelli Road, but through some investigation of the existing the underground elevator structures to the metro station, we had the tweak to design here, and the stations moved up to Old Georgetown Road. So I believe North Bethesda BRT will cross 355 at Old Georgetown Road, and they can potentially have stations on either side of Old Georgetown, or I think they were thinking about swinging around somewhere in this area.
But they were saying the end would be at the White Flint Metro Station. I'm just saying from last night's meeting, it seems the two almost
I think you can see here, there's some pretty convenient stations, I believe, up at Old Georgetown Road.
So it's a long walk. So in other words, you really shouldn't be able to you're really not intending for people to transfer from one BRT to the next.
I don't believe so. I'm not aware of the particulars of their project, but I've thought there might be a station sort of along Old Georgetown Road where people could get off or go across and take.
They want to get as fast as possible to the White Flint station.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know. I guess I don't want to speak too much for that project, but I believe there's a station location that's pretty close. And from what I understand, WMATA is planning to sort of mirror this on the unbuilt side of the station. Like I believe they're planning another entrance actually in this location, along with the redevelopment of this area over here on the east side of 355.
I'm just asking the question after attending the two different BRT sessions one night after another. I'm saying it's just part of that basically you're not working. It doesn't sound like anyone's working together on BRT.
Actually, no, we actually have had a coordination meeting, and that's kind of why I'm remembering what I heard from their plans. And I believe, there's going to be something to accommodate transfer of ridership. And even then, I think it's, to me, if they were to let people off at White Flint in this area, that doesn't seem too bad. Because turning, with the rapid movement in buses in the dedicated running way, I don't know that you want, you don't necessarily want a bus turning into your dedicated running way. You want buses to be sort of riding almost like it's like a fixed line along the running way. But I can pass along your concern of like
Yeah,
coordination of design.
I mean, the people designing the other BRT on North Bethesda did not seem to be aware of that Westlake Terrace is going to be the entrance and exit from the HOV lanes on I-270. And they wanted to take, I think, one of the two lanes. And I'm saying, gee, that thing is going to be gridlocked, probably backing up the traffic of people trying to get off at that HOV lane all the way into Virginia. I mean, we're planning all kinds of things. We're planning 200,000 more people. We're planning on adding huge amounts of housing all over these areas. And I don't see how traffic is going to move. I mean, everyone keeps saying, well, once COVID's over, COVID's not going to end probably for years, because we're not doing anything to try to stop COVID from spreading. And because of that, everyone is afraid to go to work. I mean, I've spoken to one person, they went to work for a week,
let me
with COVID.
I hear where you're coming from. Let me pass along your concern of like coordination between the two BRT lines back to the county.
At least the two BRTs. I can understand why BRT wouldn't coordinate with the I-270 HOV project, because one is a road project and one is a bus project. But basically what they're going to do to Westlake Terrace right now, because you can't get traffic lights changed, we have a protected left into Home Depot on Westlake Terrace, which backs up the whole street.
No, I understand, but can I get Dan to maybe raise his question? Because I don't want to ignore. Appreciate it. Dan, where do you want to head?
I'd like.
Oh, you're back on mute.
There we go. I'd like to head up to Rockville.
Okay. Any particular street or just kind of
downtown Rockville? I'd like to see how we managed to get through Rockville.
Yeah, let me show you.
We are having fun in Rockville right now with our friends at WMATA doing a lot of work at the station, and it just is concerning to me getting through Rockville. I think you've got some good plans. I just would like to see.
Yeah, let me scroll up. That's actually an area we changed from the study phase because we had to tighten up the limits of our work.
Sure.
Hopefully this scrolling isn't too boring.
No, actually it's kind of cool.
Let me get up there. Okay, we are getting slowly approaching Rockville. I probably should have typed in a street, but we'll get there eventually. Okay, all right, that's Edmonston, a little bit further. Slowly but surely. Okay, I think this is Don Street. Okay, here's Mill. Okay, so what we're doing here is originally this was a reversible median BRT through Rockville. I guess downtown is a little bit like north here.
Is it 2 lanes BRT or just a
no? It goes from 2-lane BRT at the end of segment 2 into a curb. Essentially a second right lane in the southbound direction.
Okay. So mixed traffic?
Northbound is mixed traffic. Southbound is a dedicated BRT lane. So only buses should be in this lane. This second right lane, I'll call it.
Okay.
And what we found is because of the traffic patterns, northbound should function well in mixed traffic, but southbound, they need their own dedicated lane just because southbound always seems to be busy.
Could you go up to and scroll up to Manatee and see what have the turning movements? What did you guys do there?
Sure.
The lot 13.
Like right now, what we have shown is just stations on 355. We're still sort of working through the potential of changing lot 13 into a transit center. So
that is a challenging turn for us right now, just in regular service. So I'm curious how you guys looked at lot 13 and how to get in and out of.
Well, I believe the bus would come still you'd have a left turn lane to make a left onto Manatee and then make another left into the transit center.
But I think the other thing that we were looking at, Mike, was potentially another driveway entrance that would just be bus only, kind of closer down to Ivy League Lane, so that the buses, they would have to get a special signal, obviously, but that there would be an opportunity to potentially turn in there. We'd have to see whether we've got the space to do a left turn pocket there for the buses, Dan, but we've heard loud and clear, you know, that the challenges of operating at the intersection of Manatee and 355.
My only suggestion, if you're not able to use Ivy Lane, is widen Manatee. Give yourself more space to maneuver vehicles in and out of there, because that is a very challenging turn and it's a very busy intersection between the school activities and our activities. So just something to consider. Normally you don't ask for more lanes, but sometimes this may help make the turning movements a lot more easier. Just a thought.
No, good comment.
Dan, is there anywhere else you want to go?
Now, those are the two issues certainly that were on my list.
Tim, you have
Yes, thank you. Could you, this is maybe more of a general conceptual question for the Lake Forest Mall area. I know, you know, that site's going to be redeveloped with housing and some retail, maybe office, but so my kind of general question, kind of broad question, like how much is the design, like the new transit center perhaps, how much of the design of the BRT stops is going to be dictated by Montgomery County for the best interest of the BRT project versus what the developer may want for that site for their redevelopment? And how much is the city promoting what the developer is contemplating, or are they going to be in tandem with you to make the BRT the most efficient it can be?
So the conversations between all parties are very preliminary at this point, you know, still trying to figure out, you know, what the mall is going to redevelop and look like, you know, who's doing what and how are all the pieces going to come together. What I can say is that at least in the conversations we've had with city staff and with their mayor and council, they're very supportive of the BRT project and see the BRT project as, you know, an important transportation option for their residents and businesses and visitors. So I think there's a strong desire to try and make the BRT as successful as it can be. But, you know, how all those details get worked out, it's a little too early to say. I mean, we see a lot of benefit given what's been talked about and what the city proposed in their master plan for the mall site as, you know, a mixed use, higher intensity area, you know, with housing, that transit would be an asset, you know, a benefit to that property. And having a very well integrated transit center that supports the redevelopment and works with it, you know, would seem to be a win for everyone. We'll just have to see how those conversations work out in the end between all the parties that are going to need to be involved.
Yeah, thank you. I hope the county is strong in pushing the need to have the most efficient, effective BRT in that area with the redevelopment. Thank you.
Sure.
This is Jerry Garson. I have a question on map 9, where the bus leaves the operating in the median and then crosses over to the right lane.
Can you give me a
It's
cross?
exactly in front of
Hold on.
an Exxon station that has very cheap gasoline, and there are regularly lines to get into it blocking the right lane. So how is the bus going to basically get over, or are you going to get rid of that Exxon station which has cheap gasoline? Right there, you're pointing out where the gas station is.
Yeah, I don't believe we're proposing to
It's called Southside Oil LLC,
right
but
here.
it's an Exxon station. And right there, there's regularly a line northbound to get into the station.
Mhm.
And normally in rush hour, it currently blocks the number 46 bus and the 101 bus.
Our bus is not, trying to push over all the way to the right lane by that gas station. He's gonna, at least with the path we've shown, he's gonna probably stay in the left lane at this intersection and then
Yeah,
potentially.
then cut over.
Yeah, then
But
cut
that
over.
intersection currently only has 2 working lanes regularly in rush hour.
And
And
so,
if it's
yeah.
backed up, and it regularly backs up further beyond where the bus is. So that means the bus won't be able to get into that lane.
Well, I mean, there's 2
It
lanes.
won't get into the right lane until it passes the gas station,
No, it won't be
Jerry.
able to get the left lane.
It will be
left-
able to get into the left lane.
Well, how would you do that? I mean, the traffic doesn't allow it regularly. From my own observations, I haven't been to that gas station since yesterday, though. So I mean, the conditions might change in the future. But at the moment, since it's a low price station, it regularly backs up the whole Rockville Pike.
Well, if people are trying to get into the gas station, they should all be over in the right lane and not
Yeah,
blocking the other 2 lanes.
But
Yeah.
all the other traffic gets diverted into the other 2 lanes, and you have more volume than the 2 lanes can accommodate.
Okay, well, we'll look at that and understand it, recognizing that gas prices, 5 or 6 years from now, it may not be the lowest priced gas station in the county.
I don't know, at the moment, it seems to be, and they do a huge volume of business.
Okay, well, we'll look at the traffic
Yep.
impacts and how that will interact with the BRT.
Now, my other question is, do you have enough traffic volume, I'll call it south of Rockville, to justify putting in a median set of bus routes? I mean, how many people want to go to Security Lane? How many people want to go to some of the other stations? At the moment, White Flint is basically a disaster because nothing is there. It's basically, vacant land.
Something will
I
be
know
going there soon,
planned
though,
it.
right?
When they planned the BRT, White Flint was an operating mall. I've been on this.
But isn't Lord and Taylor out of the way now? I think they are.
Oh,
moving
everything is gone. Yeah. Well, they've built a few houses on sort of just north of the mall on Nicholson Lane. They've built some apartment houses that aren't open. But basically, I mean, everyone keeps promising they wanted Amazon to come there. They wanted other people to come there. And the county, basically, if you drive down Rockville Pike, you'll find a huge amount of office space available, a huge amount of retail available. And basically,
I've got to
I don't know what's
believe.
happening with you, but I know we shop regularly on Amazon because you go into a store, they never have anything in stock.
I've got to believe with the success of Pike and Rose that the development at White Flint that was delayed because of the Lord and Taylor lawsuit, I guess, now that that's off the table, I could see a comparable development going there. And I think in the past, we've seen plans on our end at Stantec that are, pretty significant development in that area. At least that was planned. And I think now that it's planned is clear, I don't see why it wouldn't come.
Well, there's
right.
three cranes in the vicinity of that area now building additional buildings. So it is coming. It may not have come as fast as we want it, but all the better for us to get this in as the area is maturing so that the traffic isn't any worse than it already is.
Well, right now we see traffic on I-270 above what it was pre-pandemic. There's a traffic counter at Middlebrook. I've been tracking traffic every day, and we basically see on many days it's like 110, 108%, but it's basically somewhat more than the full what the previous volumes were in 2019, which is 3 years ago, which is the only comparable data that's available. But basically, everyone's in cars. Whenever you drive any place, the traffic has gotten bad. I know we have a Vision Zero plan, but Vision Zero seems to be we're going the opposite way. We're trying to get everyone on as many streets as possible. And if you go on Strathmore, we've diverted traffic onto Strathmore because of the lack of capacity on the Beltway. And there's no plan on widening the Beltway after 270. And part of our problem, why traffic is as bad and why buses running slow, is that there are many traffic signals that had loop detectors that are broken. And there's one that messes up buses every time you use it.
Jerry, we've got a new person in the room. I wanted to ask maybe if Peter has an area he's interested in looking at as far as a 25% design.
Thank you. I'm just catching up quickly. I'll jump in if I could think of the right one.
Okay. If you got a street you want to go, we can go. We can play around with the web map.
Okay.
Sorry, Jerry, didn't mean to.
No problem. No problem. It's interesting to listen to this.
Yeah, I mean, we've got a plan for the future now.
Well, we don't know what the future is going to be. I mean, it's nice to plan for it, but if all this housing comes and we get 200,000 people, I'm going to tell you this is going to be an unlivable area.
That's why we should all ride the bus.
Well, that bus has to go where you want. How many people in Montgomery County who own a car go grocery shopping by bus?
You know, sometimes you got to be open to new methods of transportation. And if you can see the convenience of a bus zooming by while you're sitting in your car, maybe on 355, maybe that opens your mind to some alternate.
Well, I normally don't go more than a few blocks on 355. I mean, if I'm going from the northern end of 355 further south, it pays to go over to 270, then take 270 and go back. But I mean, everyone keeps saying if people, now if you made the buses free, I mean, I've been a big proponent of having free ride on, and we saw the traffic, the number of people using the bus has not decreased as much as the number of people using rail, since rail is charging money. I mean, the 46 has really picked up a quantity of people who say, oh, the bus is free, rail is $3, so I'll take the bus for shorter trips. And it just, the whole thing with the buses is, how do I get to a bus from my house? Out my bedroom window, I can see a bus route. And I can take the bus and go someplace, but if it's going to take me 3 hours to take 2 buses, 1 train on one side and another bus on the other side, why would I ever dream of it? And a significant amount of traffic is people. We had to pick up some shutters in Aspen Hill because that was the closest Home Depot. I'm wondering how many hours it would have taken me to go to Aspen Hill from my house. I mean, the bus is all over, but how many buses do you want to take? Yeah. Most people don't want to go on more than 2 or 3 buses on a time.
You should get your blinds on 355. There's got to be some place. Hop on the BRT.
No, we actually ordered the shutters initially, and we paid for them at the Gaithersburg place, which was much closer to our house. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden, Home Depot told us 2 hours later, your order has been canceled, and we'll refund the money in a week or 2 because they don't have it there.
Supply chain issues.
Oh, supply chain issues are causing a huge amount of traffic. I don't know how many miles people are going to try to get baby formula.
Yeah, I think, well, they're not finding baby formula. That's what the problem.
I mean, it just, I've been a major proponent of free ride on bus, and I have to compliment Dan and everyone else who made it free up until this July 3rd. I testified before the county council to make it free. I've been one of the major proponents of free mass transit. I'd love everything to be free. And maybe the higher price of gasoline, they told me, would possibly cut a few drivers off, but all indications on the traffic counters on 495 and the traffic counters on 270, since the price of gasoline has gone up, more people are driving.
You know, maybe just to talk about it real quick. I mean, one of the changes that in segment 3, you know, we've gone from a median BRT to a southbound curb lane. And part of that was driven by the existing pedestrian bridge here. Originally with the median BRT, we were kind of blowing out the road beyond, if you can see these little squares, these are the pier columns of the pedestrian bridge.
Yeah.
And with that median BRT, we were blowing out this bridge, but our understanding is, you know, they wanted to maintain that bridge for people to access Rockville Metro. So that was kind of also one of the other factors that led us to, you know, removing the median BRT and doing the southbound dedicated lane, which we found in, you know, in our analysis, at least in this short stretch of Rockville with the predominantly southbound traffic, works well in. And we avoid the cost of impacting a structure. So.
Oh, I understand.
We're trying to be efficient here as well.
cost is a problem. We understood they didn't have $10 million to provide another year of free ride on bus service for the poor people. So they said, since we don't have that $10 million and didn't want to cut out any other program, they just decided to put $1 in. But I'm willing to bet money that the ridership on the buses go down when you're charging $1 for each trip.
Better than 2.
Hmm.
Let me see. Pittsburgh 75. I'll go up to Lake Forest.
So the proposal on the northern end is to keep the no dedicated bus lanes sort of basically what I call after Middlebrook.
Yes, except now instead of, I think when we originally got involved, the study phase alignment was going to take it on Observation Boulevard. And this, it's always subject, it could be changed in the future, but yeah, it's in mixed traffic because I think there's just not the amount of traffic there yet. And it's gonna it goes from left onto Middlebrook. Let me see if I can go there real quick. If I can, looks like I had a freeze. Doesn't take too long. We'll see.
The one other comment I make, we'd love to see all the construction on the northern end north of Shady Grove first, because that's where most of the ridership will be.
Yeah, I think that's something we can keep in mind. If they move forward with the central phase, I mean, that we can always work with the community to kind of figure out which phases should go first and what service maybe demands which part of that central phase goes first. Because I know there is definitely a lot of traffic to Shady Grove. It looks like we have a few seconds. And I'm having issues scrolling, so unfortunately I won't be able to take us much further north to kind of show what's happening. But we have a stop sort of on the north side of the MC Germantown campus. And then I think the idea is that service can either like sort of split, goes to the Germantown Transit Center or north to the Milestone shopping center.
Right.
Let me.
So we have to now say leave this, or
yeah, I guess I'm gonna click leave. We'll see if we'll end up back in the main room.
hopefully we do.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.